So yeah, as mentioned before, we're here with Nat Mason, who has been a member of the podcast since its beginning, but for various reasons has not made it onto the show. Not entirely yours, to be fair, or even primarily.
Names were named.
Names were named, songs were sung, off key. I was inspired but also disgusted, so he has been appearing on In Between Your Ears with the role of various musical segments he has provided to the show, so thank you for that.
Quite alright.
And first we're going to give our usual fake news quiz. So what I'm going to do in that is ask you about 4 different stories.
Okay.
And one of them is false. Only one, though.
Only one.
Only one. So, number 1. You obviously got to guess which is the fake one, the fake news. So, number 1. Donald Trump reportedly hit himself in the head with a golf club, then blamed his caddy.
Carry on.
Number 2. A bishop says homosexuality passed on to the unborn when pregnant women enjoy anal sex.
I could buy that.
Well, buy the concept or buy that a bishop would say that?
Both.
Yeah, fair enough,
I don't know anything about biology. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Number 3. Boris Johnson set fire to a public toilet during his time as a Bullingdon Club member. Allegedly, of course, as he was never formally caught and prosecuted.
Definitely true.
You going for that already?
Definitely true.
Number 4 and final one. Seagulls, drunk on beer and ants, are following and vomiting all over people.
That could happen in Margate or something, I reckon.
Donald Trump reportedly hit himself in the head with a golf club, then blamed his caddy for it.
I mean, I'd like that to be true, but I reckon that's probably the false one.
It was the Boris Johnson one.
Oh, fucking hell.
So yeah, Donald Trump did reportedly hit himself in the head with a golf club and then blamed his caddy. The story came from a recently released book. It's written by Rick Riley, and it talks a lot about how, all these anecdotes about Trump's golf stories, among many other things. So one time after a bad drive, Trump slammed his driver back in his bag and wasn't really watching what he was doing, and the driver ricocheted back and hit Trump in the head. AJ, Trump asked, did you just hit me in the head with my own driver? Sir, Mr. Trump, why would I do that? AJ said, you're my president. There was also a moment discussed in the book in which the same caddy literally fought someone for saying something bad about Trump. He was running his mouth, sir, says AJ, who calls everyone sir or ma'am, yelling about Mr. Trump. He was saying to someone, don't tell me how I have to feel about him. I hate that motherfucker. AJ says he came up on Sully from behind and put him in a full military chokehold, yelling, now you listen to me, fuck. You're not going to come to Mr. Trump's course and eat Mr. Trump's food and then use the word hate about my president. I won't have it, you got me.
And eat Mr. Trump's food.
Not literally from his plate, you imagine. So given his loyalty to Trump, it seems unlikely that AJ actually hit him in the head with his driver.
Just while we're on the subject of golf, isn't it a ridiculous amount of land in this country is dedicated to golf courses? More than there is to social housing or, good, nice things.
I don't know the figures directly, but I can well imagine it, and I know that quite a lot of water is devoted to maintaining the nice green look of golf courses. And it just all feels like, pageantry for the rich. All the better off.
Well, while I'm on my populist streak, if I was in charge, one of the first things I'd do is close all of the private golf courses. I'd keep the municipal ones, right? That's fine. That's a working class thing, right? But I'd close down all the private golf courses and I'd build social housing.
Oh, I sound that. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Maybe with a little municipal golf course for every other one. Or a mini golf.
Oh, mini golf, yeah.
That's saving more space.
I'm absolutely fine with mini golf.
Yeah.
No problems there.
AJ's loyalty to Trump is explained pretty strongly in the piece, so it's easy to believe his story here. An example, another AJ story. There were protesters by the entrance every day that week, and AJ always made sure to drive his car right by them. There'd be a bunch of women out front with all their stupid signs, sir, so I go real slow by them, hit the window button, zzz, toss them the bird, and I yell, fuck you! They start yelling at me, and I'm like, zzz, right back up again. And I laughed, sir.
Who is this AJ fella?
He's this caddy who just lives on the golf course and just defends Trump's honour.
Is this kind of Sancho Panza for the Don Quixote that is...
Pretty much.
Trump.
If Don Quixote was set on a golf course and was about Donald Trump, Sancho Panza would be AJ, or vice versa.
Excellent.
Number 2, Bishop says homosexuality passed on to the unborn when pregnant women enjoy anal sex.
Okay, so only when they enjoy it.
Well, that's the question I was asking as well, because it doesn't quite make that clear. It's kind of nuanced.
Yeah, that's definitely a grey area. Was this a Catholic priest?
No, it was a Greek Orthodox in Cyprus.
Greek Orthodox?
Yeah, it's basically like the Russian Orthodox Church. There was a break in like 1200 something or whatever over some minor points of dogma. They're not one of the more liberal churches, I don't think, particularly when Putin promotes the Orthodox Church.
I think the word Orthodox would imply it's not the most liberal.
The Bishop of Morphrou Neophytos said in a recent speech, according to LGBTI rights group Accept on Thursday. During a speech in June to a group of people in Akaki, the Bishop said St. Porphyrios... Akaki.
Okay, sorry.
AKAKI. The Bishop said St. Porphyrios made mention of the issue in his writings. It is a problem which is usually transmitted by parents to the child, the Bishop said. He added that it occurs when this couple have sex while the woman is pregnant and the sex is unnatural, as he characterised anal sex. The Bishop said that when the woman enjoys anal sex, a desire is created which is then transmitted to the unborn child.
This makes about as much sense as homeopathy.
Well, homeopathy, homosexuality, everyone understands these things, according to him.
Got the same prefix.
Well, you know, I don't know if the Greek Orthodox Church enjoys homeopathy or whatever, but I imagine they'd steer clear based on the prefix, like you say.
Absolutely.
The video was posted on social media where it went viral and people joked that they finally had an explanation for being gay. Number 3, Boris Johnson set fire to a public toilet. Sadly, that's not the true story.
Although he probably did.
He probably did, somewhere at some time.
Isn't one of the conditions of membership you've got to set fire to money in front of a homeless person?
Yeah, I've heard that, which proves what a bag of dicks they are.
Mm.
So 4, seagulls drunk on beer and ants are tripping and vomiting. Yeah, well, it will be explained in here. It's seagulls are reported to be getting drunk on beer dregs left behind in glasses and hallucinating after eating flying ants. Before falling over and vomiting. The phenomenon was first reported in Devon last year when firefighters were called to rescue one seagull and found it was reeking of beer after it fell off a roof, was too drunk to fly, and then promptly threw up all over them.
Good lad.
One theory is that early morning scavenger gulls find half-drunk plastic cups left lying around by revellers from the night before. But drunken gulls have been spotted again last year, with one woman saying a gull stole a glass of red wine outright.
Don't surprise me. I've seen them after me chips before.
At the same time, gulls are experiencing psychotropic effects after eating too many flying ants.
Good to know. Yeah, like next flying ant day, actually. Just rolling on the floor, days.
There was a witness from this firefighter crew, and a crew of 6 firefighters were called by the RSPCA to rescue a seagull behaving erratically on the Devon border last summer. When they arrived, the bird had already fallen off the roof and was sitting shaking its head.
We've all been there.
The bird was rescued, one among many, and apparently they had a seagull drunk tank set up. A firefighter at the scene said, when we arrived, he'd already fallen off the roof, was sitting shaking his head, and then he tried to fly and he nearly hit me in the face. I caught him and he threw up all over me.
Again, we've all been there.
Yeah. So if
there's no shame in it, right? You've just got to say sorry and move on.
Well, seeing as how birds can just squawk and then maybe throw up on you again, it's a bit harder to determine attention. Stay away from Devon people is the motto of this story.
Duly noted.
Yeah, you've been a Labour Party member, like, well, all the people involved in the show for, how long has it been now? I think you were there before I joined.
First joined in 2010, the day after the general election, where the coalition government came in.
Mm-hmm.
When I moved to the Netherlands for a year, I gave up my membership because I thought I can't be involved like from a distance.
No.
But that lasted about 9 months.
Yeah.
And then as soon as Jeremy Corbyn came into the frame,
you came back from the Netherlands on the nearest yacht.
Yeah, swam over from Hook of Holland to return home and play my part.
So you joined the day after, so May 2010. When did you leave? Obviously, when did you go over to Holland?
I moved to the Netherlands in 2014. I went over there to study, and in that time we had the 2015 election.
Yeah.
And obviously that wasn't very good.
No.
There was at my then partner's house in Germany, up all night, watching the results come in and just swearing, mostly.
Oh shit, I didn't even bother, I just went to bed.
Yeah, so I joined up again I'd say the next, maybe a couple of days after that. Ended up moving back to England in July of 2015.
Yeah.
And I've been getting involved in my local area, in Bestwood Village first and then Hucknall.
What was your kind of political upbringing in terms of, was politics around in the house when you were growing up?
Absolutely. I'd say I've got a fine pedigree. Dad served as a trade union representative before and been a long-time Labour Party member. My mum's been a long-time Labour Party member. My grandfather and grandma were both party members. I think Grandad served as a local councillor in Mansfield for about 50 years.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd say, yeah, I've got a very good pedigree. Very proud to be a third-generation trade unionist and Labour Party member.
Tell us more about your trade union background. What union are you involved with and what role do you have within it?
So I've been a union member pretty much all of my working life. I joined Unite when I was 21 and became a teaching assistant because they were the only one that wrote and got in touch with me when I was living in Salford and said, hey, do you want to join a union? I'm like, yeah!
Yeah.
Been a member of Unite Community until recently, but I've got a bit of money problems at the moment.
Yeah.
Toned down a bit of my campaigning and stuff. And I've been a member of Unison since my second day on my current job, and I pretty much signed up to be a union rep straight away.
Yeah.
And it took a few months to go through my training, coming towards 3 years serving as a trade union rep.
Yeah.
It's one of the main reasons I love my job.
Oh, really?
One of the main reasons I get out of bed in the morning, knowing that I'm going out there, I'm helping people, I'm representing people. Yeah, just using my skills to fight the good fight.
So what's it like being a trade union rep?
Well, it can be bloody tough. Some people might think of you as a counsellor because they'll just come to you with any old problem.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've just got to give people the bad news. It's like, I've tried my hardest. I've tried to explain it in different ways, but the sad fact is we're still not going to have the right outcome that we want. Obviously, we've got some of the most restrictive trade union legislation in the Western world. It really nullifies what you're able to achieve and what you can do.
Yeah.
Some changes I'd like to see there when we finally get a Labour government in. One of Tony Blair's greatest failings, I think, was not to reverse any of the Thatcher trade union legislation.
What's kind of the issues which people raise at your job? Not necessarily your job specifically, but in your experience of union reps. What issues are you usually called upon to?
Low pay is... I work in education, so education becoming more casualised, reliance on bank staff, and term time only contracts, morale, mental health problems.
Yeah.
I've not had to deal with anything in terms of kind of discrimination, which is pretty good, but I think like my employer is really good on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, pay is generally the thing that matters the most to people.
Yeah. Yeah, naturally.
You know, like nobody does... I should say, like, I'm a teaching assistant.
Yeah.
I work at a college for people with learning disabilities and physical disabilities. I mean, like, nobody goes into our profession to become a millionaire.
No.
You know, we do it because we love the people that we work with, you know, that's service users and kind of staff members.
Yeah.
Like, we feel like we're contributing something, we're helping some of the most vulnerable people in society. But I think it's just a shame that nationally and locally we haven't found a way to reward, you know, these people that take their time to do this difficult job, because it can be bloody difficult as well.
Yeah.
And people are still struggling to make ends meet.
Yeah. You've mentioned before as well about, in previous recordings, which I haven't made it out there, about your sort of Christian socialist approach to, you know, politics. Could you tell us a bit about that? Because I think it's probably a minority position nowadays, but was certainly a main driver of the Labour Party movement when it was founded in the late 19th century, early 20th.
Well, absolutely. I mean, Keir Hardie, founder of the Labour Party, like, he was a die-hard Christian. That was his mission, as it was, like, guided by the principles of Methodism and, what is it, to quote, the Labour Party owes more to Methodism than Marx.
Yeah, than Marxism.
So, you know, but, like, even more recently, someone like Tony Benn, who's revered as, you know, the left God, of like he was a Christian socialist. Like, and I'm not saying I necessarily identify as a Christian. I'm just somebody. I was brought up to go to Sunday school, went to a church school. I don't feel like I'm particularly a Christian, but I'm also not going to knock it.
Yeah.
Like, because that has shaped my approach to things like charity, things like goodwill, things like there is a social aspect to life.
Yeah.
And that's embedded in community.
Yeah, definitely.
And when there's members of your community that are struggling, the onus is on the rest of the community to raise them up to our standards and ensure that everybody's got a decent life to live.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's always kind of informed ways of thinking. I mean, my grandfather, he was also considered himself an Anglo-Catholic.
Okay, yeah.
Like the very Catholic side of the Anglican Church.
Well, the latest figure to be identified with that politically that we all know is Rees-Mogg, who is a very different beast from a Christian socialist.
Absolutely. And, that's what I don't like, because religion always seems to get lumped with the very worst aspects of society.
Yeah.
And especially when the religion and politics mix.
Yeah.
Like, look at someone like Bolsonaro in
Brazil. Yeah.
Putin's ties to the Orthodox Church and stuff like it. It's always portrayed in the negative light. But, whether you believe in Jesus or not, or think it's a nice story or whatever, Jesus was a fucking radical socialist who believed in redistribution of wealth, kicking the moneylenders out of the temple, ensuring that people are looked after. He created the National Health Service, healing Lazarus and all that.
Yeah.
Like, he's not a bad idol to have in your life.
No.
So I'm not going to knock people who like Jesus and actually act in the way that his teachings promote. Not
just use him as a pillar of, reactionary tradition.
Like the Rees-Moggs.
Exactly. And I suppose the final point really is you're well known as a musician. I wouldn't say you're a well-known musician.
Well-loathed as a musician.
Well, I don't know. I saw your band Slum Party, and I really like them, and I bought a record from you, which I play every now and then.
We just finished the second one.
Nice. I definitely want to hear that. What power do you think music has in changing the world or inspiring, people to get involved in politics? Do you think it's a sort of side thing, or do you think it can have real impact?
I don't know. You're like me. We're both big Bob Dylan fans.
Yeah.
Right? But when it's written in the annals of history, Bob Dylan is this revolutionary hero with all these great sage political songs and captured the essence of the time. And really, he didn't really say much that was kind of radical. He did some good things, sharing the stage with black people. But you counter that with somebody like Phil Oakes, who was actually singing about stories that he'd read in the New York Times and conversing with radical socialists and communists from Latin America and playing all the benefit concerts and all of that. But who remembers Phil Oakes? Just us lefty kind of folky types. I mean, even look at someone like Billy Bragg. Love him. Love his music, but it's a caricature.
It's a bit sort of sealed in aspic, so to speak.
I don't know, maybe the closest that we've had recently would be someone like the Manic Street Preachers. They've managed to get some really kind of subversive stuff into the lyrics, but, they can package it in a really popular way, that Everything Must Go album, all the songs about the welfare state and that. I don't know, I think I perform a lot of stuff on my own, and I always try and have a kind of political bent to it, but I never ever want to just say, vote Labour, smash the system, end Tory greed, capitalism is ruining everything, you twats. There's much more poetic ways, there's ways of disguising your language, there's ways of subverting it by, presenting the other side of the argument, but in a certain, a pathetic way. I don't know. I'd never go for that kind of Billy Bragg,
right in your face kind of thing.
Phil Oakes kind of. I used to. I used to when I was 13, 14 and an anarchist. But thankfully I've forgotten all those songs.
What do you think about that band which got kicked off Glasgow recently for having that song Kill Tory Scum?
Was it Cabbage?
I don't think they were called Cabbage, something like that probably. I'd forgotten their name, but...
I don't know. There's incitement to violence and there's incitement to having a good time.
Yeah.
I don't really listen to anything that's come after 1995, so like anything contemporary, you might as well not ask me about.
To be honest, I'm kind of largely the same way, so I sort of vibe with you on that. As like, anyway, yeah, thanks for talking with us, Nat, and we'll see you again on the show soon.
Quite all right.